got some notes here on my phone, so forgive me. It's an honor to be standing in front of you at Brian's event. What he's been able to do and continue to do for us in New Jersey is special and unique. We are lucky to have you, and you will always have my support. Now, I'm just a dad. A dad who never thought he'd be standing in front of you fine people here tonight. I'm just a dad trying to raise two of the most beautiful beings that my eyes have ever seen. I'm just a dad looking to get ahead, pay his mortgage, and save some money that he can provide for his family. I'm just a dad who is looking to keep his marriage filled with love over 9 years and as strong as it was as the day we set our vows. I'm just a dad who wants to raise his family with love for God, family, and country. I'm just a dad who kisses my children on the head at night and wishes the best for their future. I'm just a dad who wanted his kids to earn their place in this world and be the best version they could be. I wanted to raise children who understand the value of what it means to be free and to be American, to be proud of the incredible feats of those before them and not despise its history because of its imperfections. I'm just a dad that saw things begin to change in America. I'm just a dad who witnessed a lot of intentional division by our leaders rather than unity. I'm just a dad that saw the media nefariously look away when it was inconvenient for the truth, but inflame other groups to fight each other. I'm just a dad who cringed when I saw educators screech when God is mentioned in school, but promote their identity religion to confused and young, impressionable minds. I'm just a dad that is seeing how they allowed to tear down George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, the Mount Rushmore presidents. I'm just a dad who saw our kids were the last ones to be without masks, the ones who were the least affected by COVID. I saw when cowards revealed themselves and were maskless every day, but insisted on teachers and students still wear them in schools. I'm just a dad who decided he didn't want to be the guy who said, you know what we need? I wish someone would do this for our kids. I didn't want to be just a dad who preached to his kids from his couch and told them, when I was young, we did this. I knew that type of lecture would not land like I would hope. They'd rather get eye rolls and draw eventual disdain. I wanted to be a dad that would show them, a dad that would lead by example. I knew I had to change if I wanted that. I decided to be more than just a dad by the name and words. But I wanted to be a dad who was about that action. A dad who would lead them and show them how their dad is trying new things at 40 and how their dad is willing to do things he's not good at first and eventually strive to be just 1% better every day. I decided I had to write these books myself. I took lessons from my father, a first lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps, and my mother, who was a stay-at-home mom who left teaching to raise myself and my brother and my sister. She later went back to teach 5th grade at Verona for 20 years. So I came up with a motivational and patriotic series called Forgotten Wisdom Books, Lessons from a Former Marine and Retired Teacher. Like many in my town, Brian and I grew up in the middle. Not poor, but certainly not rich. My siblings and I were taught you must earn what you get and earn what you get in life, and we're encouraged to take personal responsibility. We were taught that our reputation, name, and word carries farther than we can see, and people will treat you however you tolerate. Growing up in the 80s and the 90s, as kids, we rode our bikes everywhere. We stayed out until the streetlights came on and had no cell phones. Sometimes we come home with bloody knees and bloody elbows, with Band-Aids that were administered by a mom that happened to live the house closest to whatever spill that was there. My parents would probably get a courtesy call from that mother, so they were prepared. We rode home with the bloody knee. We weren't picked up, we weren't rushed home. We were just kids, where we didn't have the internet influencing our behavior. We had the schoolyard that did that. Sure, we had Mario Brothers and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on Nintendo, but there was always more appealing options for our attention. If you were the first thing you do is ring your neighbor's doorbell by yourself and ask if he or she can come out and play. Parents were thankful to get that ring and get their kids out of their house on their bikes to a park by themselves where other kids were undoubtedly playing football, basketball, baseball, etc. We weren't just practicing to throw a spiral, we were practicing the life lessons that we learned from our parents outside of that playground or field. About how to stand up for yourself when you were getting picked on or doubted. We learned that in order not to get picked last, you better be out there practicing every day. We learned that it was more fun to be outside than inside. Inside was punishment. Inside meant you were grounded. Now kids see getting outside as the punishment. It's pulling them away from their devices and their perceived comfort. While my stories are about having self-accountability, to believe in yourself, dare to do great things, dare to do great deeds, how it is better to earn something hard by pushing through adversity, they all have one thing in common. It's changing your mindset. A positive compounding mindset that I've learned early could reap massive rewards for a child's development and accomplishments. Our children don't know what they don't know. They don't know on the other side of hard work is a greater sense of self-worth and gratification. Our minds are meant to save us from discomfort. They are meant to shield us from pain. As a kid, you learn this early, and if not encouraged to see the other side, they will only know a life of ease and emptiness. They will never know what they can accomplish. They will never know, they will never have the feeling of saying, I know this is hard and uncomfortable, but it's going to be worth it on the other end. They don't know the secret is in the dirt. The secret is in the dirt. It's in the grind. It's in the process of believing in yourself and not quitting when life hits you, but rather hitting back harder. Along the way, you start to build character. Legendary NFL coach and broadcaster John Madden had a quote I always liked. It was, the path to easy street is through the mud. And I think what John was trying to say is hard work and discipline leads to freedom. So when the next challenge arises, and they always do, our children have the building blocks, the memories, and the accomplishments to lean on as fuel for their next obstacle. Without that, you have what you often see today. Children quitting when something gets tough. Parents taking the easy way out and letting the children quit something rather than see it through and push your kids. You have so many other distractions as parents and more present problems to solve, and I get that. I go through that all the time, and I balance it myself. But this will be a bigger problem for them if you don't address it and if you don't help your kids now. My daughter trains in karate and judo. She's been doing karate for about a year when she started judo. She's a leader in that karate class. And in judo, she's not. She's new. She doesn't know where to put her hands. She doesn't know where to put her feet. The aggression was a little bit different, and she was getting thrown around in class by more experienced kids. One day she said to me, Daddy, I wish the kids in judo could see me in karate and see how good I am. I said, Taylor, you are just starting judo. You can't expect to be as comfortable with judo as you are in karate. I tried to break it down for a 7-year-old as best I can. I said, Taylor, how good are you at drawing a rainbow? She's like, Dad, very good. And I said, yes, of course. You've been drawing a rainbow since you were 2 years old. Now imagine I gave a piece of paper to you and another girl, and I said, you each draw a rainbow. But the other girl has never seen a rainbow. She's never even seen crayons. How do you think that person would do? You think you would better? She said, yes, of course you would better. I was like, but that girl eventually is going to start getting better at drawing that rainbow. And I didn't know if that had any effect on her at all, that conversation back in my car. And then a couple months later, she came up to me after judo and said, Daddy, I'm getting better at my rainbow. And I was like, you are getting better at your rainbow. She didn't get her first stripe until after 6 months. That day she was in shock, and you could see her smile from a NASA satellite. If I let her quit when times were tough, she would never know the incremental improvement that was possible. When my children learned how to ride their bikes at 4.5, we did it without training wheels. We used a balance bike to get them started for a year, and then it was time for pedals. I would hold their seat and then slowly release my hand. There was a big shiny bell on that bike. They weren't allowed to ring that bell until they earned the right to ring that bell by riding a bike. The bell stared them in the face time after time, and they ride and failed. But I wanted that constant reminder of a goal. To a 4.5-year-old, a shiny bike bell that you can't ring, white knuckling a bike, is massive. It's an itch you can't scratch. They needed to see it as something to keep going. For when they were able to ride and they rang that bell wasn't just a bell anymore. It was a sense of accomplishment. It was a sound of determination, a sound of reaching the summit of a challenge they seemed insurmountable at the time to a 4-year-old. A sound they created, a sound they earned. Children look to their parents to lead them, and I believe they need to see their parents accomplish and try new things. They need to see their parents finish what they started. That's why there is an interactive part to these books, where parents can set goals with their children and help them achieve them. In addition, I want families to have pride in being American. There is an American flag on almost every page somewhere. But I also want to teach them about great Americans who performed these same lessons in real life in the past. Americans like Teddy Roosevelt, Wilma Rudolph, and the founding fathers, Lewis and Clark. I hope to give American families an alternative to what's out there, and for them to know reinforcements are popping up every day. I believe that there are more of us out there that are being seen and heard right now. There are so many patriotic, hardworking, God-fearing, freedom-loving moms and dads who want what I want for their children. We just got to let them know that we are here and we aren't going away. I'm just a dad, and I thank you for your time.